Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Fanatic at Sounds for Producers. Welcome to another episode of beat making. This beat is actually pretty good, something a little different, not your typical beat. Hopefully, you can learn something as we go through the video. And please hit that sub button, show some love. Check it out. Hey, what is up, y'all? What's going on? It's your boy DJ Fanatic, like I said earlier, at soundsforproducers.com. Welcome to another episode of beat making. Let me know if you can think of another title for that instead of just beat making, because this actually isn't a beat. It's more like a song, and it's a very feel-good type song. And I actually made this today in a matter of 20 minutes, so it came together pretty nice. Before you dog the beat, stuff. It's not a typical trap beat or hip hop beat or pop beat or R&B or whatever. This is actually for a film, so a film project. So I thought I'll go behind the scenes and give you some of my creative process. How I go about just putting things together and kind of building melodies and whatnot. So before I begin, make sure you subscribe, hit that sub button as well as the bell, so that way you get to see all the videos for the channel that are coming up and that are planned. And also, give a thumbs up if you learned some or, just want to show your support. So again, this video, this particular beat is not intended for an artist. It is for a film project. So, and like I said in many other videos, producers, you gotta diversify yourself, have a diversified revenue streams, because making music just for artists, if that's your thing, you can do that, but there's also other ways of making income out there, so make sure you explore those. So anyway, here it is, behind the scenes of what I created. So the first thing I started out with in my head today, I just wanted some piano, so I started out with the Kontakt piano. Made up some chords here. I noticed all these higher notes didn't sound loud enough for me anyway. So you can select those by holding down Control and hold down Alt and move up. Use your scroll wheel on your mouse to raise the velocity. There we go. So some really nice chords there. What I did use to start with was the stamp tool, and just chose different type of chords and then just kind of change things up. I know it looks a little messy, but it's pretty much duplicated and then layered another octave there. So let me check something. Cool. So what else? Next we had another piano. I added the same piano actually. I can show you which one here in Kontakt. I think it was the Giant. Yep, I used the Giant. I rarely use that, but there's some really nice sounds in there. Native Instruments have tons of cool stuff, so you can always go ham with them and tweak it to your liking. Next was like a main melody over top of the piano, and just kind of played these notes here. So check it out. And I noticed the second one isn't loud enough for me, so what I can do is just go here and just raise it up a little bit, or I could have went to the mixer. And also sounds kind of robotic, so I'm gonna shift it a little more. Sound 2 on the grid, so let's check it out. And this note right here, this second note, I can take the snap to grid and do none, and just hold down shift and move it 2, and just hear how it sounds. Same with this. Like I said, this beat is extra feel good, so if you're feeling in a bad mood today, hopefully this will cheer you up a little bit. So the next thing I added, which is crazy, I love this plugin. It's by Output. Shout out to Output if you're watching any of these videos. This was Exhale. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do in here. I didn't tweak too much of the sound. I pretty much left it alone. This is the Black Hills sound. I got the whole suite of outputs. Speaking of that, I gotta make sure I make a payment. I usually get an email anyway when it's due, but I got the whole suite of output stuff. So they got some powerful stuff. And make sure you you got a laptop that meets the specs and whatnot, because a lot of the sounds are very complex and layered, and there's a lot going on. So then I added that particular pad sound, so check it out. Dope. So the next thing was like a cymbal, and believe it or not, it's like a house cymbal. So sometimes you want to try different sounds like out of the genre, just to hear how it sounds with other elements. No one would ever know that's a house cymbal. Like, even if you say it's a trap crash, it doesn't mean that you just have to use it with trap music. Just don't be afraid to be free to create your music like the way you want to. Don't be labeled in a sense. Like, for instance, all the loops that we sell on the website, it'll say Scorpion Sting Volume 1, which are catered to Drake sounds, but don't think that it's only for Drake sound, because, there's several producers that can just take one thing and just make it totally different. So next, I think, was Kick. And with that kick, added some reverb and did a little bit of EQing, raised some of the sub frequencies and cut some of the highs there. And the reverb gives it like that anthem feel. And next, I believe, was, that's not a hi-hat. Let's find out what it is. It is a hi-hat. And I did something cool with that. I'll show you in a second. So with the hi-hat, I actually use Shaperbox. I did a video on this plugin on this channel, so you make sure you check that out. Basically, I use a stutter effect on the hi-hat and turned out in a mix level. That way, it's not as sharp or repetitive, but also it's kind of subtle, but it gives the hi-hat a totally different rhythm than what it was. Let's actually mute that, solo it, and I'll let you hear it without the effect. See, that's the original pattern that I made, and then I did a stutter effect with Shaperbox. And you can use different plugins. You don't have to use this plugin. There's other stutter, what was it? Looperator. You can do cool stuff with that. And there's just a bunch of plugins you can always check. But anything that does like you can even use Grossbeat. Grossbeat has a stutter effect too, so you can put Grossbeat on there as well. So this is with the effect. Just a lot busier and a different pattern, so came out pretty dope. So the next thing I did, let's actually unmute all these, is a snare with a reverb. So it's like an anthem feel. It has a nice large sound, perfect for like a scene in a movie or a show where, I don't know, maybe a sunset, or someone going on a journey, or someone trying to, like, you got to visualize stuff when you're making stuff for film. So And next was the I think it was hi-hat. Right, I did a steady hi-hat to give it its kind of solidify it in a way, to give it a steady groove, and also it's panned left and right. If you notice, every hi-hat goes left and right. So just little things like that, you can add to your music. So that is the whole beat so far, what I made. And my bad if it took too long to break it down, but I'm actually pretty much wrapping it up and then kind of make some type of format out of it. So I did want to add one more element. I was kind of messing around with these West African sounds, I believe. So let's actually route it and see what I can find. What I'm trying to do is actually time the rhythm of it and come up with a cool pattern. So I think that'll do. So let's actually record that and see what comes out. We're doing step. Cool. Notes and automation. And make sure we're actually recording in the right pattern. There we go. Whoops. So let's undo that, undo that, undo that, and just make it a whole large pattern. You know, the first note I don't want to have that quick. That's perfect. So let's take that off and just loop that. I didn't do the little thing I wanted to do. What happened, man? Actually, let's put that on a step. Whatever. cool. So I kind of wanted that just to be in the background. So now I'm actually gonna mix the sounds a little bit and just see what I want to do with them. They're pretty much where I want them to be, but just gonna test it out a little bit. So now I pretty much have where everything I want, all the sounds where I want. We're gonna add some color. You can do random or rename and color. So actually go to the color grid. I'm feeling really tropical with this one, so let's I don't want to blind you. Let's do like a gradient of there to there. So we'll start with orange to like yeah, let's see what happens with that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like a sunset or sunrise, either way. So let's actually put it more in a song format, and I might add some other elements of breakdown. So save that, and we'll check the time here. All right, so I'll do a quick little structure. It's not intended for an artist, so I'm just kind of freestyling and see what I want to do with the format, the structure of the actual piece of music. So we're just gonna copy all that and start out really slow, probably with the piano, and just build it up from there. So, or we can just I don't know. So let's figure it out. Let's take out a lot of the drums. Don't need any snares, no hi-hats, none of that. We'll leave the flute in, see what we think. So yeah, so we'll take the flute out, we'll take the pad out in the background, we'll take all this out. And actually, what I do want to do is make that intro a little longer, so we can do this. Just copy that over and just actually take that out. don't want to bring the drums in just yet, so we're actually gonna. I'm getting confused. All right, so was it 4 bars? Yeah. So we're gonna take that out. My bad. When I duplicated it, I actually put a accidental layer on top of it. So, I mean, it can make it louder, but you may run into some phasing stuff. I've done that before in some beats, so be careful when you're copying over like that, not to overdo it. So, what else was I doing? All right, so we're building up the beat. I call it a beat, but this particular song more. So let's see how it sounds here. And I think that's pattern. Oh, it has to stay as pattern 11. Doesn't have to. And this is pattern 9. So let's see how it sounds as it builds. The flute to me sounds a little pitchy, so let me see if I can actually just tune it just a little bit. Bars. Cool. So let's copy over that pattern and see what that sounds like there. So already here at this part, we're at 1 minute and 52 seconds. So we could loop this right here. And I was thinking also, I didn't add a bass. I could easily add like a synth bass to it and do some nice movements, but sometimes it's not needed. I may do that later, but I think it sounded pretty cool. Now, I rarely make music without a bass. It's just something about those low frequencies that carries a song forward. So I probably will put a bass in it later. So I'm gonna copy this part. Make sure I got everything. Hold down Shift, drag it over, and after that, I'll bring in this again. Let me see what. Okay, that's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. We'll bring that in one more time. Make sure everything is selected. And at the end, I might just do something crazy, like some automation or something. I don't know. But for this little section here, I'm actually going to take away a lot. So maybe this hi-hat. Alt-T. I could make this unique and do like a really long reverb tail. Let me see what it sounds like with the kick, which I forgot where it's at. Let's try it right here. I like it without the kick, and I may put a bass on it later. So anyway, there you go. Just kind of went over a few things working on this project. Kind of structured it out a little bit. Again, this is intended for a film project. It's not a artist project, so I think it came out pretty cool. It's a good feel-good type beat, feel-good instrumental. I like the elements that were chosen. I may swap out the flute because it sounds a little little pitchy for me. I may just try something else, and of course, like a really cool synth bass, and it'd be pretty much done. So actually happy how this came about. Made it really fast. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're inspired, because sometimes we lose that inspiration, and you got to keep that inspiration going, so you keep making great music and you keep pushing your creative self further. And never like lose your mojo, if you will, to make things outside of your comfort zone, because that pushes you musically. That makes you a better producer, and being diverse and better at what you do, definitely makes you that much more of an asset to someone else, and also can help you get to places you never thought with your music. So again, it's DJ Phanatic at soundsforproducers.com. I make sure I put the free loop pack link in the description, and make sure you hit the sub button, hit the bell as well, so you get to see all the new videos coming up, and also give it a thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you at the next one. Dope.